No, I won't back down.
Over January, the Socialist Worker Party has found itself entrenched, fighting pitched battles against allegations of a scandal that threatens to irreparably damage the party's reputation. A leading member, infamously labelled Comrade Delta, was accused of rape by a fellow member. Instead of going to court, as the SWP suggested Julian Assange should, the case was heard in private by the Party Disputes Committee, featuring a number of leading members who were close to the accused. Questioning was said to have included victim blaming such as, "So you like a drink?" And as there were no witnesses, and the DC is hardly CSI, no evidence could be gleaned beyond her word versus his. The allegations were found not proven. This was reported back at party conference, but the victim was prevented from entering to listen on the suggestion that it would be inappropriate. The party line now is she was happy with the investigation, and so did not want to speak. A large number of those at conference were not present, and so, whilst the report passed and the disputes panel was re-elected, it was backed by less than 50% of delegates. However, that was enough for the Central Committee, the party leaders, to draw a line under the incident, denying members the right to discuss it again in future on pain of expulsion. I will say right now that regardless of the disgusting way that this corrupt, unaccountable process was handled, the very idea of this going before a committee ill-equipped to judge such matters was wrong. Even if the committee had found Delta guilty, the worst they could have done was expel him. The case then couldn't have gone on to court successfully, as evidence would have been corrupted or destroyed by that process. So a dangerous man would have walked free. What the party should have offered was all of its support that it could to the complainant as she went through due process. I've been a member for some 3 years now, and when I joined I did so partly because the party looked like it could credibly lead a fight back against injustice and inequality in all their forms. But if we can opt out of capitalism's structures when it suits us, how can we ever seriously fight to improve or replace them for the wider population? I knew, and still know, several people who have been failed by the criminal justice system when it comes to such incidents. They've all been victims of bourgeois justice, but rightly they're still incensed by the party's actions. And yet the CC would expect me to look those same people in the eye and state that the party did the right thing when I know the contrary to be true. I can't ignore the reality of the matter any longer. I dreamed a dream in times gone by. The SWP could end oppression. I dreamed that justice would apply to everyone without exception. But then conference came this year, with CC lies as soft as thunder. They tore my party apart, turned proud traditions all to shame. I fought sexism by their side, opposed the fascists and the Tories. They took a stance I could support, but that was gone when conference came. I had a dream the SWP were different from this hell I'm part of, so different now from what they seemed. The CC killed democracy. Since then I've heard all manner of cock and bull excuses for this course of action, ranging from the absurd to the downright deranged. Previously solid activists have claimed that the bourgeois legal system would have had a vested interest in finding revolutionaries guilty. They've argued that it is patronising to women to suggest that this was not an internal issue, no matter what. And they've also said that we need to move on from this introspective business of a bungled rape investigation in order to move forward as a party and a class. Above all, one accusation stands out to me: that anyone who disagrees is trying to destroy the party. The sweeping right-wing press, as well as jealous sectarian groups on the left, have both been accused of trying to make a private issue into a destructive one. But that suggests that doing wrong is only a bad thing if other people find out about it. Whereas, in fact, this betrayal of party traditions threatens to drive hundreds of activists, not just from the party, but from politics of any sort. This left three options for me: keep my head down and try to live with myself, fight within a party that has made it clear that it has no interest in fair debate, or make a stand publicly and risk political isolation and irrelevance should I fail. An obvious choice to make nonetheless. Let me make it clear. This video is not me announcing I'm selling out for some consultancy in a vile third-way think tank, nor am I trying to derail the struggle of radical change. Above all else, I'm not forsaking the cause of socialism. I'm simply doing what I feel I must to help put right the wrongs of my party, in the only way that I know how, by making a song and dance. It is true that the working class face the greatest attack on their rights and freedoms for a generation, and it is true that perhaps they stand to lose more now than even during the Thatcher era. But it is not true that in order to face that, we must brush our problems under the carpet. In order to fight such brutal attacks, the left must first have our own house in order. There comes a time when we must be honest and critical of ourselves, if we can rise to the challenge and transform society for the better. And if we cannot do that, then our houses are built on sand and are doomed to crumble as a result. At times like this, we must ask ourselves as radicals and revolutionaries some difficult questions. Who am I? Can I ignore the party's perjury? Pretend I feel no guilt or agony? Can I still go on paper sales, ignore ill judgments and prevail? Who am I? Can I bury my head forevermore? Pretend the party's what it was before? And must dissent until I die, be silenced by the CC? Why must I lie? How can I ever face my fellow men? How can I ever face myself again? Revolution's in my soul, I know. I can't betray my principles. They gave me hope to right all wrongs. They gave me strength to struggle on. Who am I? Who am I? I'm Jack